This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, September the 16th, is a former LA Lakers legend who played with the Lakers and nobody else. He was an icon who actually started studies with the Minneapolis Lakers before they moved to LA. So that was huge. Part of the 50 greatest and 75 greatest players list for the NBA. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1977. He is actually the leader for rebounds in Lakers history with 11,463. Not even Abdul-Jabbar did that. And he also was general manager of the Clippers for 22 years. So he did a lot of good things and all that. His name is Elgin Baylor. He was born September 16th, 1934 in Washington, D.C. And there's a reason why I don't say his age. Anyway, he was born in Washington, D.C. and grew up in a D.C. He grew up near a city rec center, but under the rules at the time, African Americans were not allowed to use the facilities. Excuse me. But that didn't stop him. Anyway, he did what he could and all that. No major college recruited Baylor because at the time, college scouts did not recruit at black high schools. And some colleges were willing to accept Baylor. He couldn't do it academically. So he went to the College of Idaho and did quite well for himself. Anyway, the College of Idaho dismissed his head basketball coach and restricted the scholarships. So Baylor was stuck, but a Seattle car dealer made him interested in the University of Seattle. So he went to Seattle University. The Lakers actually drafted him in the 14th round of the 1956 NBA draft, but Baylor opted to stay in school instead. Back when drafts were really long. During the 56-57 season, Baylor put up 29 points and 20 rebounds per game for Seattle and helped them get to the championship game in 1958, losing to Kentucky. I mean, it was like amazing how he could lead this small school that nobody knew about and get to the NCAA championship game. The Lakers again drafted him, but this time with the #1 overall pick in the 1958 draft. So obviously, he decided to leave school to join them. So Baylor went to the Minneapolis Lakers. And after George Mikan retired, the first true superstar, retired in 1954, the Lakers were on a downward swing. They only won 19 games out of 72 the year before. They had no permanent home arena, losing popularity, and in financial trouble. Baylor signed for $20,000 a year, which was a large sum at the time. Anyway, he became the NBA's first franchise player, if you will. Played for just one franchise. Baylor had exceeded expectations and finished fourth in the league in scoring as a rookie, third in rebounding, and did okay. Elgin Baylor actually refused to play in a road game in West Virginia after the hotel the team booked denied lodging to the team's 3 black players. When trying to be convinced to play in the game, he said, "I'm a human being. I'm not an animal put in a cage and let out for the show." Baylor was given the Rookie of the Year award and got the Lakers all the way to the NBA Finals, losing to the Celtics in the first sweep ever. So anyway, by 1960, the Lakers were moved from Minneapolis to Los Angeles. Got Jerry West to play point guard for them, and hired Jerry West's head coach Fred Schultz. The duel of Baylor and West led the Lakers to success in the 1960s. Baylor was putting up numbers. He scored 71 points in a game against the Knicks in 1960. Unfortunately, though, Baylor's record would be surpassed by Will Chamberlain's famous 100-point game. Baylor was actually called to active duty by the U.S. Army and stationed at Fort Lewis in Washington. He could only play for the Lakers on a weekend pass. He could not practice with the team before or after or during the season, and had to fly coach across the country on weekends to join the team in whatever arena they were appearing in. Despite only playing 48 games, he did score 38.3 points per game, which was pretty good. Unfortunately, though, Will Chamberlain did better. Baylor put up 61 points in Game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Celtics. And it was weird how Baylor had like a part-time season, if you will. Unfortunately, though, a massive knee injury during the opening game of the 65 Western playoffs made him require surgery. And the problem was that due to the archaic methods of treating the injury and all that, the knee surgery limitations were there, and the lack of meaningful rehab left him with nagging knee problems, resulting in surgery on both knees. Baylor only played a few games in 1971, the famous season which saw the Lakers do pretty well for themselves, before rupturing their Achilles tendon. And then, 9 games into the 71-72 season, because of his nagging injuries, he decided to retire. He told the press that he couldn't play at the highest level. Regardless of that, in 14 years as a forward for the Lakers, he helped the team make the finals 8 times, but unfortunately they lost every time, pretty much all the time, to the Celtics. Unfortunately, the retirement was just a terrible move, because the first game after Baylor retired was when they won a game, but what people didn't realize was that it led to a 33-game winning streak for the Lakers, and then they won the 1972 championship. Baylor was an assistant coach and then jumped up to head coach for the New Orleans Jazz before they moved to Salt Lake City, but couldn't do anything about it. In 1986, the Clippers, under Donald Sterling, that Donald Sterling, was hired by the Clippers to be the VP of basketball operations, aka the general manager, if you will. He was actually named Executive of the Year in 2006. But during his 22-year tenure, they only managed 2 winning seasons and were 500 plus games below 500 combined. 1 playoff series in his career. He tried. So yeah, Baylor made some great moves and some question moves. Danny Manning, number 1 overall in 1988, it looked okay, but injuries hurt him. And then 2000, he picked Michael Olakandi first overall. It was like, who? Anyway, in 2009, Baylor filed a lawsuit against the Clippers, saying he was underpaid during his tenure and fired because of age and race. But then Baylor dropped the racial discrimination claims in the suit. However, in 2011, the jury found in Baylor's favor, finding that the determination was based on the team's poor performance and nothing else. Oh, sorry. They found it on the Clippers' favor because of how the team had poor performance. But Baylor was happy when 3 years later, Donald Sterling was banned for life from the NBA in 2014 because of his racist comments. Baylor would live till March 2021 when he died at the age of 86. So anyway, he was a great all-around player and all that, and had a massive legacy and all that. He was very methodical and all that. His signature running bank shot was huge and all that. His 71 points on November 1960 were a Laker record till Kobe's 81 against the Raptors in 2006. He still holds the record for most points in an NBA Finals game, with 61 in Game 5 of 62. So yeah, you got to the Hall of Fame in 1977. He's often listed as the greatest NBA player never to win a championship, although it's not technically true. He did play for the 72 Lakers and won the NBA title. And although he was not on the roster when they won the championship, he's still technically an NBA champion due to playing for the team at the beginning of the season. The Lakers did give Baylor a championship ring. Anyway. The University of Seattle have named their basketball court in honor of Elgin Baylor. Baylor played 846 games, pointing up 27.4 points per game. In the playoffs, 134 times you get playoff appearances. And 8 trips to the final without success. That's really pathetic. So regardless of that, Elgin Baylor still did a fantastic job. And he was, unfortunately, the GM of those sad sack Clippers for 2 decades. One might have been if he could turn the Clippers around like the Lakers. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.